Good day, everyone. Welcome to our marketing research webinar. Really excited. Hopefully you stayed home. You're not in the snow. You don't have to worry about losing your parking space. And we're so grateful that you're able to join us for the next hour on best researching tools for entrepreneurs. And I am joined, I'll talk more about my colleague that's here to my left, Alexandra Fox, with Arlington County Library, but we're really excited to bring this topic to you. Before we get started, I'm going to go over just a few logistics about the webinar, just so we're all on the same page and everybody knows how the session will go. But right now, currently, all attendees will be placed in listen-only mode until the end of the presentation. If for some reason you have a question and you don't want to forget that question, there's a little chat box that you'll see on the right-hand side. You can email us your questions. The session will be moderated at the end by my colleague, Masa David. She'll be helping us out and making sure that we answer all of your questions as we go through. And then we're also going to be recording the presentation. So if for any reason you missed a section or you want to be able to go back to it, it will be available on our Economic on the Biz Launch website as of Friday, we hope. And then if you have additional burning questions in regards to marketing research and you want to know more, feel free to set up an appointment with us through our business counselor, with Alexandra, who is available as well. She is amazing, but I'm going to get into that in a moment. And you can call us as well. So really looking forward to an informative, productive hour, and we're so glad that you're here with us today. That is me, and on the other side is Alexandra Fox. I'm Tara Palacios, the Director of Biz Launch. Started the program almost 15 years ago. 15 years ago next month. We've been around for a while. This topic is near and dear to my heart. I went to grad school for marketing research and marketing communication, so I just understand the power of marketing and what it can mean to your business. And when you do it, and you do it right, and you do it well, the results are exponential. So I love doing this, and I love doing this program with Alexandra Fox. Alexandra Fox is the business librarian at Arlington Central Library. She's amazing. I've known you a little bit less than 6 years now, and we've just had such a great trajectory. I consider you one of my best friends here in the county. We have the pleasure of working with entrepreneurs, and Alexandra's background is all about research, and I know if I go to her, she can help point me in the right direction to finding information, which I like how you say that's deeper than a Google search. I think that's the difference, and especially for an entrepreneur, going deeper than a Google search is paramount to the life and breadth of your company. So I'm looking forward to digging in, plunging, and going through this topic. And I heart market research all the way. And we've got an action-packed hour.
Yes,
so
we do.
I think it'll be pretty good.
Hard to get through, but we'll get through it.
We're going to get through it, you guys. And it's still cold outside. There's nowhere else to go but to stay inside. And so we're going to start off by asking the big question, what is market research? We hear the words bandied about quite a bit. And for me, market research is that deeper dive. It's going beyond that Google search and really getting to the heart of information that you need in order for you to make the right business decisions based on your strategy and your goals and where you want to be. And so looking at the American Marketing Association's definition of what market research is very important. It is the systematic gathering, recording, and analyzing of data with respect to a particular market, where market refers to a specific customer group and a specific geographic area. I cannot emphasize enough that this is not everybody. Marketing is not marketing to everyone. It is very specific. It drills down deep. It really understands the particulars of your target market, their age, their demographics, where they live, how much disposable income they have, whether it's on the customer side or on the business side, and or the government side. It's really drilling down deep to understand and really understand your community and your customers. I would even suffice to say, it's like you know these people better than your family members. You know them so well, you know when they're going to leave out the room and go make a sandwich. So it's really that deep dive.
And what sandwiches they're going to buy.
That's exactly it. And it's just not generic, it's very specific. And so why use market research in business? And I think the parallel is why not? You know, market research can really identify market trends, demographics, economic shifts, customers' buying habits, when those habits change, and important information on the competition, because you really want to keep abreast of what's going on in your specific industry sector. One thing that pops to my mind, Alexandra, right now is Apple just came out with their report, how they're doing in the economy. And one thing that they're saying is that their products aren't moving off the shelves as they used to. And I think even Apple has problems in making sure, or challenges I should say, in making sure that they understand what those shifts are. When the buying habits of their customers are changing, to be able to respond. Because when you look at R&D, R&D takes a certain length of time, and if you get behind the 8 ball at any chance, that's it. So I think looking at that and making sure that you're abreast of what's going on, you're on top of it, especially your competition. A lot of times people will say, oh, I don't have any competition. To me, that's a warning sign. That's a red flag. That's saying, why are you doing what you're doing? And it's also knowing if somebody's going to enter into a market that you're dominating and being able to take your market share, what does that look like? And this is why I get so passionate about market research, because of the ability of you to kind of look in this crystal ball and see what's going on. It's paramount. And have that right information is priceless. And so how can it help your business? It helps you to be able to communicate effectively, identify and understand opportunities as they present themselves, pinpoint any obstacles or problems or issues that you may have, and then be able to benchmark and evaluate your success. Why are we doing what we're doing? Why are we going to this association event versus that association event? What is our return on investment? If I put dollars in to join the Chamber of Commerce, how many new customers am I going to get from that? I know that there are fees to join, but also there are fees, to maintain my membership. And is this my right target market? This is how you start to benchmark and really look at your keys of success. Now, there are 2 types of market research that you can do. And you may have heard these terms bandied about. There's secondary and there's primary research. We're going to go in depth on the secondary research
Correct.
in the presentation today that Alexandra is going to pop into right now. Secondary research really is information that's already out there that you're gathering, that some other institution may have put or combined or put together, that you're utilizing in order to make a decision. Really coming up with a way to identify your competition, your strategy, and why you're benchmarking the way that you are. And it looks at the demographics, the population, usage, foot traffic, how many people are crossing a certain intersection, lifestyles and behaviors. So this is that deeper dive than I'm going to Google social media in my industry sector. No, it's really taking that deeper dive. Your primary research, I look at primary research as you're going directly to your customer. You're going directly to your clients to be able to get the information directly from the source itself. It's not that secondary thing.
So it's like focus groups and surveys and things.
Focus groups, surveys, in restaurants, it's test taking. I always like doing the test taking because that's really beneficial. It's also looking at piloting. So you're going to, instead of going out full throttle with your Apple 6, you do a smaller audience. Movies do this a lot, when they data test and they look at movies and how audiences respond. This is primary research. It's very expensive. 9 times out of 10, the recommendation would be to hire a consultant to help you with that. Consultants can be quite expensive, but you really need to know what to ask and how to ask it. And I was thinking as we were going through the slides today, that's another webinar.
That's probably, yes, another one altogether.
Another one altogether, but one, if this group is interested in doing, that we will definitely do in the future.
That could be a really good topic.
I think it would be really interesting. So that's all for me. One of the things I just want to leave you with for my slides is that as part of your business plan or as part of your strategy, you're going to want to be able to use both primary and secondary research as part of your overall marketing plan. This is important because you want to do as much research as possible, but you also want to kind of hear from your direct target market to see what's going on. So with that, I'm going to turn things over to my colleague in arms, Alexandra Fox, one of my most favorite people here in the county, and she's going to do a deep dive into the types of secondary resources that are available.
Yes. So good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure being here again. It's been a couple of years since we've done this. So as Tara mentioned, we're going to flip back to the secondary research. So, oftentimes we often think that we can go to one place to get all the information we need, but unfortunately this is not the case. And these are actually some examples of the primary, the government, some of the resources that are available in the secondary arena. So, for example, government information data. So we know, for example, the census is a great source. We have business and financial news, like someone mentioned, the Wall Street Journal. We have market research reports, and these are published by notable firms and cost a lot of money. And then we also have some specialized encyclopedias and ebooks. And today I'm going to actually take you through a couple of the databases that we subscribe to, that we are very fortunate to subscribe to, that we pay for, that we make available to you as an Arlington Public Library card holder.
Do you mean that these sources will be free?
They are completely free. And for those of you who don't have an Arlington Public Library card already, I'll be talking about how to get one at the end of the presentation.
Yay!
So let's moving on. Just so for those of you, this is just a sample of some of the databases that we subscribe to. Now, Tara, do you recognize any of them?
Yes, I do.
Which one is that?
Now, I really like Lynda.
You like Lynda?
.com because I can get a lot of good business information. Some of my favorites, Reference USA. I use that pretty much when I do BizLaunch and I'm looking at a particular industry or I'm trying to see what types of businesses that we have in Arlington. I use Reference USA. Business Decision is amazing. And Business Insights. Oh my gosh.
So these are just some of the business.
I could go on.
The business databases that we subscribe to. We subscribe to about 80 databases that you can access from home. And just to give you a flavor, let's go to how we actually get to some of these databases. So this is the Arlington Public Library homepage, and this is our website address. Now, mind you, we do get calls from people who think we're Arlington, Massachusetts or Arlington, Texas. So just try to remember that what our website looks like so you go to the right one. Now, before I get started, one of the things that when people come to us in the library and ask us questions like, I need to know about this, as librarians, we're trained to say, what information are you looking for and what are you planning to do with it? So as you begin, you're thinking about what information you need and why. I would suggest that what you do is start thinking about some of the things that you will like to do with that information. Also, if you're looking at a particular sector, for example, research your codes. There's two classification codes, the NAICS and the SIC.
Yes.
The SIC code is the older classification code that every business has a code that you use when you file your taxes. And a lot of business research is organized around the SIC or the NAICS codes, depending on how old the database is. So it's probably good to get a couple codes that actually, some codes are not perfect, but explore your SIC codes, your NAICS codes. I'm happy to share those links with you and how you can do that research. Start off with compiling some of the terms that your industry uses. For a long time, when food trucks were really popular,
food trucks are hot.
They were actually called a variety of things in the press. Even the trade association, the local trade association that represents the DC Food Truck Association, they were using a different term. Think about those terms, write them down, keep track of how things were being described in the industry. And of course, most importantly, think about your sources. And as Tara said earlier, Google has a purpose. But when we're doing research, we want to use the right resources because our time has value.
Yeah.
And we want to make sure that we're using the right resources that have already been compiled for us. Now, these databases I'm going to show you have been published. They've been compiled using a variety of sources that are credible and that have been vetted and that are also very expensive. For those of you who do find resources that you would like to access that we don't subscribe to, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to see if I can refer you to a place where you can access that resource locally. Okay, so let's go.
This is why I love the library, everybody. They're amazing.
So the first step, now we're going to look at some databases for industry and company resources. And as you're exploring your industry, you really want to get a feel for what's happening in that space. Now, the first two titles can be accessed online. We also have those in print format, so if you can visit the Central Library, you're welcome to. The Encyclopedia of Business Information Sources, I have to tell you, as a librarian in graduate school, this is one of the premier titles that we had to really familiarize ourselves with. This has every industry. It lists databases, directories, associations, publications, and so on. So if you really want to get a quick overview on an industry, that is the resource to go to. We can point you to the right resources. It's very expensive. I think it's been around for 35 years. But it is one of the best. And it really helps you get up to speed pretty quickly. The Encyclopedia of Associations has been a gold standard in our profession as well, and it is also one to consult. And just so you know, associations are in business to help their members be successful. They are keeping track of trends. They're keeping track of what's happening in ancillary industries and how that may affect. I know the American Restaurant Association, they do an annual report every year. That's something that you want to be looking for because they're going to have the latest information on trends, who are the major players, what's happening in that space. So that is another source you can consult. The last two actually are the two databases I'm going to actually talk about and show you with some screenshots. Now, Business Insights Essentials you will find in most academic libraries locally. It is a very expensive product, and it does have quite a bit of information. And I think of it as sort of the first place to go to search for a company or industry using our databases. It does have SWOT reports. I know Tara likes SWOT reports.
I love SWOT.
For those of you who may not be familiar, SWOT stands for Strengths, Weaknesses, Opportunities, and Threats. And they're actually a strategic planning tool. And this database does have them. I think we have up to, I think there's 200 SWOT reports, and they're typically Fortune 500 companies.
Very nice.
And they're useful to look at if there is a major player in your space that happens to be a public company. Reference USA is another one of our products, which I'll talk about a little bit in depth. So let's just move right to how to access our databases. Now, this is a library's homepage. We want to mouse over the word research, and then we expand out to a set of options. We want to click on Research Portal. Now, remember, the Research Portal is your starting place to go to our premium content. Now, here's the second page. So we're on the Research Portal, and on the left side we have Take Me Quickly To, which is actually a place where you can actually get an alphabetic listing of our databases, okay? And I'm going to go right to Business Insights Essentials. Now, if you're at home or at work doing this, once you click on that, you'll be prompted for your Arlington Public Library card and your and your PIN. It's not typically not 4 digits, my apologies. It could be multiple digits. It's a PIN. So with that two pieces of information, we will authenticate you and you will be able to access the database. If you happen to be in any of our library locations, you won't need your library card because you're automatically IP authenticated in our building. So let's go to Business Insights. Okay, so this is actually just the quick the landing page for it. You can see on the top we have companies, industries. There's some comparison charts. You can do some financial comparisons, a glossary, and so on. The other day, I actually had someone come in who happened to be looking for a job and was looking for a company called VCA.
Oh,
now,
wow.
I had no idea what VCA was. I said, let's use Business Insights. So we did a quick search, and what comes up first? This is interesting. VCA, and the ticker symbol is WOOF. This is a public company that's traded. Looks like it's traded, I think, on the NASDAQ. But here we have a little snapshot of this company, which is fascinating because otherwise, where would you get that information?
Oh, wow.
Now, below, there's actually some links about financials, investment reports, trade journals. What you would find if you were to click on these links, you would actually find curated content about VCA. So unlike Google, our databases are classified and tagged with appropriate terms of companies or topics. you're really getting a lot in a couple searches.
Whoa.
But just so you know, the person that was actually didn't realize VCA was a veterinary animal care company.
Oh.
And I think that it was a good opportunity to search for it. Let's click on VCA and see what else we can learn about them. Okay. So the first thing we looked at was the fact that this is actually an animal care company. They provide veterinary services, okay? And the person was not wasn't sure that she believed she made a mistake, but it was a good opportunity to look through the record. So we have a business description. In the upper right-hand corner under industries, you'll see that there's veterinary services is the primary industry for this business, and there's actually a NAICS code there, which is really helpful. And this gets back to the fact that it's really important to know some of your codes, whether you could choose NAICS or SIC. The SIC is the older classification system that's still being used, and the NAICS is the newer one. It's good to have those codes on you because then you can use them. They're often search fields in many of the business databases. So if we were to click on veterinary services, we would actually get an industry overview on that industry, which is
very
great.
Nice.
But let's go a little bit forward.
Even the business description, when they started, their fiscal year.
Exactly.
Competition information.
And I'm only showing you the first real page because there's multiple pages of this just in an effort for time. So let's go back and let's suppose we want to understand an industry. So I'm going back to the main page and I'm just clicking on industries. I'm going to click on all industries. Now I'm going to show you this main page because Business Insights Essentials has over 1,000 industry sector overviews. Okay,
whoa.
And these are often updated in the last year or two. So this is new content. Okay, so in this case, the person was looking actually to learn more about the pet store industry, pet stores, what's pet store. So I said, since we don't know the code, she didn't know the code, so let's put in the term pet store and see what we get. Okay, so a simple search for pet store is going to bring up quite a bit of industry sector overviews. And fortunately for us, the pet and pet supply stores comes up first. Okay?
I see.
Now there's one that says pet care except veterinary services. That's kennels and shelters and so on. It gives you a quick summary. I think typically it's the first 1 or 2 sentences of it. But here we're going to drill down, and we have top companies in this space. And then on the left, we also have academic journal articles, associations, and so on. Again, one-stop shopping tab. Okay?
I love it.
So below, what we really wanted to look at was the Pet Products and Services Industry Overview from the ebook Encyclopedia of Emerging Industries, 2015. This is quite good.
And that's in the essentials.
This is in the essentials, yes.
Very nice.
So let's go click on that. Now we're actually on this is the first couple paragraphs. These reports typically go 6-7 pages. They're quite detailed. They will have an overview. You can actually look at the functionality of Tara. You can translate it in multiple languages. You can listen to it as well, yes. If you don't want to read, you can listen to it or have it read to you. You could also email it. You could save it as a PDF or what have you.
You can multitask it.
You can multitask it, exactly.
That's awesome.
So as I said, these reports tend to be fairly long. They are compiled. They're put together typically every 2 years. They do pay, the vendor pays an outside firm to put these together. And actually, in looking through this report, I think it was 7 pages. And they reference the American Pet Products Association multiple times. So this gets back to the point of really knowing who your associations are. And this has some great data. They also talk about the background and development, the major players, what's happening in this space. So this is a great tool.
Do they look in the future?
They do look in the future, yes. This is a great tool to learn about an industry very quickly if you need to. And many people have used information in these industry sector overviews for their business plans to substantiate why they're entering the space or how their product is going to be different from some of the competitors.
And let me ask you, I see in red it says Encyclopedia of Emerging Industries. Yes. Does that let you know where this business is in the pendulum? Like if you click on that, will it say?
This report is from the Encyclopedia of Emerging Industries. There are several specialized encyclopedias that are now available as ebook format in this product.
Oh, wow.
So actually, let me go back quickly. So if we look at the Pet Products and Services, it's coming from Encyclopedia of Emerging Industries 2015. So it's the latest report. Nice. So the 2015 is the most recent one.
Gotcha.
Okay. So in this case, they're just showing you the source.
Gotcha. They're linking back.
Exactly.
That's good information.
So I think that's the first one I would like to show you. And then let's go to the next database, which I know Tara and I have talked about for
I
a long
love
time,
Reference USA.
So we'll go back to the research portal and we'll scroll down to Reference USA. Since we're already authenticated, it'll take us right to the main page.
Okay.
And just some background, this product has been around for over 35 years.
Wow.
It is the value of this product is that the information, the business information is vetted annually. And I can tell you the business information in this module here is what drives many of the top search engines.
Oh, wow.
Okay? So the business information, yes. It's also used in in-car navigation systems as well.
No.
Yes.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yes. This is expensive data, and it's expensive because it's vetted. And I can tell you that I understand that there is a leading search engine company that has a contract with this publisher, and they require a certain level of accuracy, and they will actually go out on a quarterly basis and test to make sure that the business information that's in this database that they happen to be using is correct.
That's really
So
awesome.
this is very high-quality data.
Let me ask you, are there other jurisdictions that are offering, say, this particular database or some of the others? Because I know that a lot of the libraries aren't. Yeah.
I believe several of our neighboring systems do offer Reference USA.
Okay, because it's an amazing.
It is an amazing product, yes. It's quite complete. So today we're going to look at just the U.S. Businesses module. There are other modules in there that you can get information. The other thing I want to mention about Reference USA is that the data here is fully downloadable. And many of the competitors to this product, the data is not downloadable. So I'll show you in a little bit why this can be useful for entrepreneurs or business owners. So we're going to click into U.S. Businesses. And there's just two ways to search. There's the quick search and the advanced search. So keeping with the pet theme, Tara.
I love this pet theme.
We'll do the Willy Wag, which is a pet product store in Arlington. Okay, so I'll do a quick search in the company name, and then we'll narrow it down by city and state. So right away, I actually get a report on Willy Wag. Now, I just want to point you to the quick links on the left side. So every business will have these categories assigned to it as when they build these company profiles, and most companies in Reference USA are private companies.
Okay.
And that's one of their strengths. There may be some categories that don't have complete information, and for the purposes of this talk, I'm going to just show you a couple of the categories. So we have the contact information, we have their phone number, we have their social media platforms. We also below have their industry profile and how they're categorized in the database, and this is very useful. So every business is categorized in Reference USA, by SIC code and NAICS code. So it gives a greater level.
I see that down there on the profile.
So, and I want to show you the next area in this report is the business demographics, and this is very helpful for entrepreneurs who are looking at their competition. Okay, now let me explain. So every year, Willy Wag is getting a phone call from this publisher, and they're verifying some basic information. Looks like they've been in the database for 6 years. Looks like this vendor has been keeping track of Willy Wag for 6 years. Does that mean that they've been in business for 6 years? Maybe, maybe not. They're pretty good at catching businesses when they're new. But when they call, they do ask some questions. And of course, the owner or whoever answers the phone or answers the questions is not going to give any competitive intelligence information.
Yeah.
What Reference USA does, they look at a couple variables to come up with some of this information. So for example, the location sales volume, that would be their sales, not their revenue. So they're looking at the type of business, the pet product store in Arlington. They've been in the database for 6 years, and they have 4 employees. So they're using some variables from the Risk Management Association, and they're coming up with that location sales volume.
I wondered how they came up with that particular number.
So
it's not like I'm giving them.
No. No one's going to share that. But we have some information about their square footage, about their credit rating. You can even buy an actual credit report from Experian on this company.
Even the number of PCs. So if I'm looking to sell technology to them, I know where they're at.
Very good point.
They might need more.
They might need more. And so you have some information. The last time this business was contacted to verify some basic information was in January, so this month.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Okay.
Let's go and actually go to the advanced search option. Now, this is where there's a lot of power with searching. So suppose we want to find out, suppose I'm interested in opening up my own pet store in Arlington.
Yes.
Let's see who my competitors would be. So I'm going to look for businesses that are verified, that they've been verified and quality checked. We're going to use our keyword SIC NAICS option. So I don't know the SIC code, but I'm going to search against it, and I'm going to find that code. And below, I'm going to select Arlington County. Now, some people actually there's you can use a zip code, you can narrow down by neighborhood. There are so many variables in the geography options that you can use to do your search. So I'm going to look for businesses that are very verified businesses that have been categorized with pet supplies and food retail in Arlington, okay?
Okay.
So now here's my result set. Now we have some that appear to me that the low price moving does not look like it could be a pet.
No.
But that's okay, because whenever we
unless they're moving pets at a low price.
It's
but
possible. So let's take a look and see. So we see Dogma Dog
yes,
Delivery,
Dogma.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And then Unleashed by Petco. On the far right, it does show the corporate tree.
Yes.
So in this instance, it should say if it's actually a franchise or a subsidiary of a parent company.
That's really good information to know.
But let's suppose I am looking. I've decided that these are my competitors.
Okay.
I can select them, and I can download them. I can download them as a CSV file or XLS, and I can create actually my list. Many people have used this option to identify their competitors. Okay, and many people have also used this option for creating mailing lists. I have a lot of small businesses that do use this product that you can download to Excel and you can export over to Microsoft Word for mailing labels.
Now, question: Can you, with this, can you also get emails? Because that's a question that we sometimes get.
I get that too. I can put people in touch with my rep, and they can actually purchase emails. For specific, for companies.
Okay. So if you want to do that next level of being able to communicate online, you can do that, but there's a cost associated.
There is a cost, and I understand the cost can range between 2 cents a record to $1 a record. Depending on the complexity.
Okay.
But I will say, in the past couple of years, I have sent several people to my vendor, and he has gotten lists for them. Yeah.
Oh, that's good to know. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Okay. So let's move on to the next option. Now, Reference USA has actually rolled out a lot of new features, and this happens to be taking the list of the competitors that I identified. I'm using actually the heat map. And you can see on the far right, the red will say high density. So looking at the map itself, I can see the highest density of where these businesses are located happens to be on Lee Highway on Route 29.
Oh, look at that.
Okay. So if I'm looking at where my competitors may be, or I'm looking to perhaps find a lease for my business, I could use this product in the heat map option.
Very nice.
To see maybe I want to be in a different place. Exactly. Maybe I want to be closer to Seven Corners, right?
Because there's already a market there, and people have, and this is always good in market research. If people already have a particular behavior, it's much cheaper not to reinvent the wheel. Hear what I am saying. Much cheaper not to reinvent. Clustering is good in some instances.
Yes, and then you can also lay some points of interest across it. You can look at how many schools and so on. So that's another option.
Oh, I need to set up a meeting with the client. What are the nearby restaurants?
Exactly. And I think this is probably a good time to let you all know that starting next week, we're going to have a free lunchtime webinar series featuring Reference USA. One of their trainers is going to be giving a webinar series focusing on some of these new tools. So they have a big data tool that you can use with this product, and also how to start and manage and grow your business.
Oh, very nice.
Look, at the end you can see my Twitter handle, or you can follow the Arlington Public Library on Twitter. But we're going to be pushing that out shortly, and people can register for those webinars that are coming up. So I'm really excited because
I'm going to join.
Great, Tara. We're happy to have you. So there's Reference USA. So hopefully people are writing down their questions for after. I look forward to any of your questions about any of these products. Now, since it's been a few years since we did this webinar, we've added some new content to our collection, if you will. And we have more ebooks, as you may know, and we have a product now called Gale Directory Library. And this is the name of the product, but within this product there are multiple ebook resources, specialized ebook resources. And I'm just showing this to you. If you search our catalog for Gale Directory Library, you'll see all the products that are in them. And one of them, which I like to point out, is the Market Share Reporter. A while ago, I was helping someone trying to identify the top best-selling video game categories. And this Market Share Reporter had it.
Oh wow!
And these are up to date. These are up to date books. So these are reference books, but they're ebooks.
So you can check them out online.
You can view them online. You can search them online.
Okay.
Yes, as well.
Oh, cool.
So there's another category for top best-selling foods in the supermarket. Huh. And that was actually that was gleaned from a market research report. So the market share reporter actually compiles a lot of top lists. It's a great tool to consider.
Oh.
And that you can view through our catalog.
Oh, very nice.
Okay.
And you would need the library card if you're remote, right?
Yes.
To be able
so in this case, if you click on Connect to this title under the Market Share Reporter 2015, it will prompt you for your library card number and your PIN, and then you'll be brought to that edition.
Very nice.
I think this product is also in its 15th edition. I think it's been around a long time.
Oh, that's so cool.
So it really has compiled the best of the best.
Wow. That's good to know. I wasn't aware of that.
So this information can be useful as you're keeping abreast of who's in the top 10 or what products are being sold, and also as you're working on your business plan.
Very nice.
Now, the other thing I want to point out is that the library does have full text access to major U.S. newspapers and international.
I love this.
And they're updated daily. Now, many of us have probably hit the paywall by searching or looking at the New York Times. Or
I've got my 10 articles in the New York Times already.
You can use these databases to actually access the full text article, and they're updated every morning. The general one-file database is actually really useful for people who are looking for specific for press releases. Oftentimes, associations will actually put out a press release on their latest annual report or a key statistic. We've been able to find through General One File press releases that have come up with some really substantive data and statistics that business owners have been able to actually use and leverage for their business plans. So don't forget that we do have newspaper and trade journal and press databases you can access. And it actually, someone asked me earlier, the newspaper by ProQuest product does include full text of the Wall Street Journal. I think multiple editions as well.
Great. That is awesome.
And the other thing,
cost savings.
That is cost savings, but I also like to emphasize too, you have the capability of searching these products using not only keywords but actually subjects. So you could search by a trade association name if you wanted to see what has been published using that trade association name as a subject.
Yes.
You can search by a variety of ways. So it isn't just doing a keyword search as you would in Google.
And it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be a member of said trade association. You just get the access by using your card.
You get access to magazines and articles that mention the trade association.
I see.
So the idea, sometimes people are trying to find a specific data point or the latest on a trend in a specific industry.
Yeah.
And we may go to General One File or Newspapers by ProQuest and search by corporate name or name, and we can put in a trade association and see what has been published with that trade association name.
Oh, got you. Okay. That's super cool.
So there's some workarounds, as we like to say.
Yay! Workarounds. That's like that.
Now this gets to be the fun part. The database is for researching demographics, consumer spending, and target markets. Since there's a lot here, I'm just going to highlight that for those of you who are actually selling your product or your service to other businesses, the U.S. Business module, which we looked at, and there's also New Businesses module in Reference USA. You can actually see the registrations in the last year of new businesses in any location.
Okay.
So you can now Reference USA is national. So you can look at any location. There's also a module in there on U.S. consumer lifestyle. And what this does, it actually does some modeling of individuals and their buying preferences, of what types of things they like to buy.
Oh,
okay.
So like millennials and other groups.
Yes, it can get more detailed as well. But I think that would be a good half-an-hour conversation about that module. But there's also new movers and homeowners, which could be useful for those of you who may be actually selling a service. And targeting actually in consumers who are new homeowners, and you can actually download those names.
Very nice.
And create a mailing list. But the product that we love to talk about is called Business Decision. We've had it for a couple years.
I love it.
It is a very robust tool, and it allows you to actually study any geographic area. So specifically a county, a neighborhood, a zip code, and you can actually learn more about the composition of the consumers in that area. Let me take you through it.
Super
so
cool.
We're going to assume that we went back to the research portal and we used the drop-down to get to Business Decision. Now, the vendor requires a second authentication, at this point.
Okay.
And I like to emphasize for people who want to use this product, create your own account in here. Once you're authenticated, create your own username and password. It does ask for some information. The only reason why I suggest this is that you have some sense of privacy. On the left side of the Express login, you can use the library's shared account, but you may just want to have that extra. We don't know what we only know that you're searching on a specific area. We don't know why you're searching on that, but maybe just to have your own space in the database.
Yeah,
okay?
I agree.
So create your own account. You create your account after you're authenticated through us. So business decision. Now, how do we use this? So let's suppose we want to learn more about Arlington County. The first step we want to do is just as we would with any file, is to name our project. I'm going to name it Arlington County. Under Define Area on the left, you can see that you can actually point on any map. You can point on any map. You can actually enter an address. Okay, I had someone actually I had a business owner actually look at the consumers that actually live along a specific road. Yes.
Whoa.
Yes. Or even,
now that's specific.
Oh, this is specific, Sarah. Yes.
This is the deep dive that we were talking about.
On the right, I'm going to use the preset area. And for most people, they really are looking at the county level or the zip code level. So I search for Arlington County in the database, and it brings up two options. And we're going to select Arlington County under the search results. And then we will select Arlington County. And on the right, what it does, it actually shows you the area that it's going to study. Okay. So the next step is actually choosing our report. Now, Business Decisions uses a variety of sources for their report generation. So they're using not only government data, census data, the Consumer Expenditure Survey, they're using third-party market research, consumer segmentation information. They're using a variety of sources to come up with these reports.
Good.
Okay, so on the left we have the name of the project, we have the area that we want to learn more about. Now, underneath that we have market segmentation. Landscape report is just really the consumer segmentation.
I see.
I'm showing you on the right, for example, how you can.
How many?
Yeah, how many, and you can click in to read more.
Wow.
Okay? So let's run our search.
My goodness.
The landscape report is going to give us the list of our top consumer segments. This is about consumers.
Okay.
So we see here that almost 50% of the population in Arlington County, which is almost 110 people, fall under the apprentices category.
Wow.
Okay, now, do we know what the apprentices category is?
That's my next question.
We do not.
Oh.
But we can find out.
Okay.
So right above, there's actually a hyperlink called Landscape Segmentation Research Manual.
Yeah.
Okay. Every report on business decision will have a legend or will have a link to more information. So, but I want to point out to you just the types of consumers we're looking at here in Arlington County. And if we were to do a report, a landscape report for a specific zip code, we would actually even get more narrower.
Wow.
Okay, so let's look and see what does apprentices mean. So this is a snapshot of actually a page in that manual, and it's going to tell me a bit about these apprentices. Now we know that the median age is correct, the family status is correct. Household income is not correct for Arlington County. Please know that these categories are really based on a national sort of segmentation.
Oh, I see.
So we know that I think the median household income in Arlington, I've seen numbers ranging from 93,000 to 110.
Yeah.
But the key thing here is that we can see the demographic overview that they like to do things on a whim. They like to take off for a weekend. And on the left side, we actually have some consumption examples.
Wow.
Okay. And it tells us that they like Apple computers, they like yoga, they like imported wines. You get an idea of who they are and what they spend their money on.
Even what they're reading, media selections, I see.
Yes.
Wow. Now this is the deep dive.
This is your deep dive, yes.
Okay.
And I think there are many other categories that fall under the thriving alone category.
And I guess it's when you take an assumption about the market. Like I think that apprentices are X, but then it's validating using a secondary resource to validate your assumption about the market.
Yes. One could ideally run a landscape research report for the zip code that covers Roslyn, for example, 22209 or 2220. I think Clarendon is 22205. You can even get even deeper with the zip code search.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome.
The next report that I'm actually looking at here is the retail goods and services. This is coming from the Consumer Expenditure Survey. And I'm sorry, but I can't see the entire screen from here, but this will actually tell us what their spending potential is in specific categories. Okay. So we know the demographic for 2014, the median household income is $115,000, the median age, and the number of households, and so on. But below, we see the average amount spent per household annually.
Wow.
So approximately $1,800. Now this is average, and average tends to be lower than median. So we have an idea of what they're spending their money on. Someone who's interested in opening up a dry cleaning business may look at that, and sort of that may be validation for them to move into Arlington County.
And I guess the next line that we can't see is 2019.
Correct.
So that's future predictions based on data.
The next column under next to average, that's going to be total.
I see.
That's total for Arlington County.
Oh, but I mean with the 2019 side.
Yes.
That'll help you to kind of figure, is this a growing market? Are people, or the number of people dwindling? You know, I guess it gives you an idea.
There's some growth, growth potential.
And the percentage of that growth year over year.
Let me actually go to it. So this is another report to look at. And this report runs a couple pages. It gets into home purchases. It gets into actually food consumption, how much they spend on food away from home. Takeaway, medical expenditures, financial services. It gets into specific categories. Okay. Wow. And this data is coming from the Consumer Expenditure Survey, which is a government publication.
That's really nice.
So let's look at the last one. This is the income and demographic report. And I have to say many entrepreneurs and small business owners have used this to understand what the largest segment of the household, for example, like under 2014 households by income, we have almost 19,000 households. Their income is 150 to almost 200,000. That's really important information to know. And then there's some projections going forward. Okay.
I like that.
So otherwise, and these are all with a click away. This is only a few clicks to get these reports.
Wow.
And I know that the census site is a very useful site. It does take some time if people
to navigate.
And I've sat down. I've met with people to help them navigate the census site, especially American Fact Finder is a great tool as well.
Yeah.
But these reports are customized for whatever location you want, and that's I think what makes them very valuable. But the landscape of consumer segmentation products is really key. And I think most people who use our products are very excited when they know that we have this product. So lastly, we're of course still a library. Okay, so we're going to have
they're books. They're real books.
We still have books and ebooks that you can download. We have lots of e-audio. We have also audiobooks you can download. Some of these are just some of the books that we have.
Are these some of your favorites?
These are some of my favorites. For example, Entrepreneur Press. It has been around a while. We have many of their titles. They actually publish special books on how to start a specific business. The Start Your Own Business, I think, is
I see that one.
It's in its
Entrepreneur.
This is a great. It's a great publisher. The
really
Small Time Operators are a great one too, and the Accidental Entrepreneur. Of course, we have lots of books on how to target certain markets, like the millennials.
I see kids marketing to the powerful and surprisingly different generation of parents.
So we try to keep abreast, and you can check out any books or ebooks or audiobooks with an Arlington Public Library card. So let's get to how you can get
more books.
More books. Sorry.
Wow.
So this is just another sampling. We also have books.
The business valuation. That's we get that question quite a bit.
We do too.
And it's hard for people to kind of put a value on
business.
Their life.
We have quite a few in that area. I get a lot of questions about business proposals. We have we do have Harvard Business Review titles. The Selling the Invisible is a classic marketing book by Harry Becker. And so this is just another sample. We do also have, for people looking for financial ratio data, we have the annual statement studies, which actually breaks out by industry. And you can actually get aggregated financial statements by industry. But so let me actually show you quickly how to get an Arlington Public Library card. You can go to our site. Under Services, click on Accounts and Borrowing.
I think it says avoid roadways there.
Well, this is, you can tell when I did the slide.
I think it's still applicable.
So under here, who is eligible? As long as if you live and work or attend school in Arlington County, you can get a card. We also have reciprocal agreements with neighboring jurisdictions. and you can actually get a library card online immediately.
Yay!
Okay. You will still have to come in to get your card registered for a 2-year period, but you can apply online. So with that, thank you for your time, and feel free to reach out to me, recommend any of your clients or your colleagues. I do schedule one-on-one appointments for business research assistants. I do that online, and underneath there we have book an appointment online, and there's a link, and you can find my business librarian calendar, and I do take appointments online. I do ask that you fill out some information so I have some background, and these appointments are are confidential. You can book typically 2 to 3 weeks in advance, but I do get booked up quickly.
Yes, she does.
And feel free to follow my new Twitter handle, APL Biz Librarian, and I will be promoting some of our resources. And feel free to reach out to me. Consider me your resource in Arlington County for business research.
It's wonderful. I don't know, honestly, world out there in webinar world, I don't know too many other jurisdictions that have a dedicated group of people with Alexandra to make sure that you have access to the information that you need in order to be successful, and to let you know that we're here, and a lot of the databases are available 24/7.
24/7 with an Arlington Public Library code.
Which is amazing. So you can wake up with your great idea at 1 o'clock in the morning and just go online. You won't have to call or talk to anybody. And best of all, it's free.
It's free. And so I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Yeah. So now we're in the Q&A session. So I'm going to turn it over to Masa to see if we've had any questions on the line.
Yes, we have 2 questions, and I'm going to ask them both. Feel free to answer in whatever order. The first one is, how often should you conduct market research? And the second question is, what should I research first? For example, customer buying habits, market trends. These are the 2 questions.
Okay, great. So the first one was about market research and
how often should you conduct?
How often? Oh my gosh. I would say it really depends on your industry sector and how fast that industry sector moves. So say, for instance, you're in the drug industry. Things don't change, with R&D, things just don't change that long, that quickly. And you have some time. So in that instance, if you're in an industry sector where things take a longer time to develop and to be brought to market, I would say put a tickler on your calendar once a year, annually, or if you know there's something coming down the pipeline, every 6 months or every 4 months, quarterly, and that you go through and you just kind of do a dive into competition, future, where things are going. If you're in IT and you're using technology, ding dang it, I would look fairly frequently. I would say I wouldn't let 2 weeks go by when I'm not in looking into papers or, checking out some of the standards, some of the industry. And this is where it may also be a great idea to join an association or to join a group, or so that you're on their listserv and any papers that they have that are coming out, that you're on the forefront. There's a lot of information that's available for free, but some of this industry data and information, especially if you're in an industry that's constantly changing, you want to know that information before it hits the street. So I would say I would actually be looking every couple of weeks and have that information.
May I just make a suggestion?
Yes.
2 things. One, I set up some Google Alerts. If you know Google Alert, you can actually set up so that every time maybe your leading competitor or your competitors are mentioned in the news, that you're actually getting an email with that information. And also, regionally, I would strongly suggest reading the Washington Business Journal. It comes out, I think it comes out every 2 weeks. The library does subscribe to it. Unfortunately, we can't get electronic subscription, but I think that would be another regional source to read on a regular basis to see who's entering your market, if whichever market you're in.
Washington Business Journal is also I get, and if you're doing things from a local angle, following the blogs, you can get some really great competitive information. I know in Arlington, the Arl Now blog has all kinds of new information about restaurants, new food trucks, things of that nature, where you can kind of stay ahead of the curve with information and stuff that's going on.
And what was the second question? I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
So what should I research first? The customer buying habits, market trends. There's some examples of different criteria for research. So what should they start with first?
I'll take that one.
I think, in my experience, I think looking at the industry is first and foremost to see where the industry is and what's happening in that space, and of course, and then looking at it locally as well.
I would agree, because you want to have, basically the way you think about it is you have an assumption about the marketplace. I am going to create or develop or do X because I have a feel that there's a huge need in the market. What you want to do is take that assumption of the market and verify. And you don't want to be spending 5 years verifying. At some point you have to take a calculated leap, but you take the assumptions that you have, and with your secondary research, you're validating it. And then as you go deeper in and you get the validation that this does seem like a need in the market and that there is an opportunity to enter the market, that's when you start drilling, even narrowing it down so that you can kind of wrap your arms. And usually you have 3 target markets that you're looking at. You know, there's your primary target market, and then there's a secondary. Your primary is very specific. 18 to 34-year-olds who are online X and that do X, and, you know, looking at the business decision modules, I think will help you to look at some of the behaviors.
I was also going to add the Washington Business Journal puts out the annual book of lists, and the 2016 book of lists has actually just come out. I don't remember which list it is, but they do show some new entrants in certain sectors. And you may want to look at the Washington Business Journal Book of Lists. There's multiple.
They're at the library?
Yes. The Washington Book of Lists, it's a carded item because unfortunately it goes off sometimes. So it actually
gets late.
It can be actually, you can check it out. I mean, you can view it in person. You can't check it out of the library, but you can get it from the reference desk, the Ask a Librarian desk, which is located on the 2nd floor of the Central Library. It's called the Ask a Librarian/reference desk. But we have the Washington Book of Lists 2016. It just came out yesterday.
Oh, wow. Wow.
And it is an excellent prospecting tool, sales lead tool, as well as a job search tool. And every year they do come out with some new lists. But I don't have it in front of me, but I do think it's worth looking at for new entrants, especially new businesses that may have, you know, are on the list, or on one of the lists. There's many. So that's another resource for you to consider.
And I know even in the county we use the Book of Lists to see, you know, who are the major employers. And yeah, we look at it from our own perspective as business development, because you could see who's in particular industry sectors and who the movers and shakers are. And then that way you can kind of fine tune. It's got a lot of great information in it. Even like, I remember when I was in the job market years ago, the best businesses to work for, that was my favorite list.
Yes,
I always wanted to work at the top list because they always had the most amenities for, you know. So you can get a lot of competitive information.
And I think for those of you who would rather not come to the library, you can purchase it electronically. I don't know what the price is this year, but it is available.
It can be expensive,
I believe it's a couple $100.
Yeah,
if you wanted to buy electronically and then make your own list.
I see nothing wrong in going to the library.
That's fine with me.
There's surface parking, garage parking, and metro, so it's all good. So Martha, how are we doing with questions? Any other questions do we have?
That's all we have for today.
Okay, great. And I want to, of course, thank everybody for joining us. To remind you all that this will be up on our website for Prosperity, so if you missed something during this lunch hour and you want to reference or refer back to it, feel free. It'll have Alexandra's contact information in there. Also want to thank Alexandra for taking a long time getting through the snow to come and join us. We really appreciate your insight, your information. Best of all, it's free and it's a wonderful resource. There are things that I always talk about that in business you should pay for. That's lawyers and accountants. But in this instance, the county really has some great services to help you be successful and not spend as much money. So thank you all. Have a wonderful day, and we look forward to seeing you again soon at our BizLaunch event. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.